What's up, people of the internet? So, I'm hungry like the wolf. It's time to go get some food. I wanted to address a topic today that I've been getting a lot of questions about. Oh shit. A little bit of brap cough there. So anyway, I wanted to address the topic I've been getting a lot of questions about lately. A lot of it has to do with my current bike and my VFR. I've been getting a lot of people asking me, you know, are you going to sell the VFR? Is it gone? Are you done riding sport bikes forever? You know, and similar questions. So yeah, I've been getting a lot of questions about that. And firstly, I want to say, to address all of those questions, I do still have the VFR. And I don't plan on selling the VFR, so there's that. Now, a lot of times people find new things that they're interested in. Sometimes it's way later in life, sometimes it's sometimes it's you know, early on in life. Sometimes you discover something through a friend. You know, a lot of us are comprised of experiences that we've gained from other people. Maybe we had a friend who had a certain car and we fell in love with that type of car, and we never went back, and we started working on that car and, you know, became specialized mechanics from that experience in that particular car. Life is weird that way. You can kind of grow through experience under your belt. So the reason I want to bring this up is because I've been getting a lot of questions, you know, in regards to my current bike. Parking ticket? Are you kidding me? For being 2 feet over this thing? What a Nazi. You know, just stuff that in my foot peg there, and you can fucking collect it on the street. Seattle's fucking parking maids. I'm the kind of person that believes you should use what you own. And if I find in the future that I'm not using my VFR and I'm riding this more, then chances are I will eventually get rid of it just for the sake of doing so. And the same goes for my VFR versus this. Now, the only practical aspect of that is this is a dirt bike, so it can do other things aside from the street. Which kind of leads me to the prelude of the point I want to make. One of the things about this bike that I've noticed is it does a lot of things really well. And You know, I know certain people, they come to your channel for a certain type of commentary, and they come to your channel because you ride a certain kind of bike and they feel like there's a camaraderie there between you and them. I get all that stuff. Holy shit, the wind's blowing me. But in this instance, I have both bikes. I think that's going to partly appeal to people who ride dirt bikes or supermotos. And I think the other bike is going to appeal to the purebred sport bike riders. One of the things that I really feel like I should touch on in this instance, here's a motorbike. Oh yeah, Supermoto! Oh, looky there! Supermoto! Not me, I'm an adventure bike. That's cool. He's got an Aero Stitch suit on. Those are great. Can't beat those. Kind of an interesting suit for a supermoto rider. I would definitely get one of those, especially if they made it in orange. They're waterproof, windproof. They keep you relatively warm. They've got a bunch of Cordura pads on them and armor, CE armor, reflective tape. Anyway, one of the things I wanted to go over about me is I come from a big adventure bike riding background, and it really wouldn't be apparent because the bike I used to ride is no longer with me. Unfortunately, compressor is deceased. It's a long story, and I'll get into it sometime because it's a great story, and it's one of those stories that makes the man, you know what I mean? So we'll share sometime. We'll have a campfire. We'll talk about it. But I used to do a lot of cross-country rides out in the desert. And to be honest with you, I miss that openness, and I miss having a bike that was a little more capable to handle that sort of thing. Super windy, guys. I don't know if you can tell. So anyway, what is the point I'm trying to make? Well, I guess at the end of the day, I'm a multifaceted rider. I've done a lot of things in my life, and I'm going to continue to do a lot of things in my life. And adventure touring, or adventure riding, or dirt bike riding are things that I want to pursue more. So I bought a bike for that purpose, and I built it up the way I wanted to. So far, no regrets. I enjoy it. It's very capable. It's a lot of fun, and it suits a lot of the needs that I have for doing what I'm going to do in the future. And that to me is really important, you know, because there's a whole new chapter that's opening up in my life of riding. And I think that's a really important thing to remember for a lot of people. Don't do things just because you see other people doing them and you think, well, that's cool, I can do that, you know, and give it a go. It looks really cool, it's inspiring or whatever. And then you get on it and you don't like it, or you find that you're not much of a sport bike rider, or whatever it is, you know, that you don't like about whatever you're pursuing. I say go with the changes. That's something that I've always done. And actually, a fella named Nerb1 had mentioned so eloquently in his conversation with me on my channel that sometimes people change and things need to change with them. And, you know, I think that's a really cool statement, and I think that makes a lot of sense. And it fits. So if the shoe fits, fucking wear it, right? Anyway, I hope that makes a couple of the theories and myths disappear. Let's see if I can get this fucker to kickstart for me. He's usually pretty good about starting right up. always get to the top of your compression stroke. Pro tip. And then give it a good kick. Commit all the way through the kick swiftly, and you usually fire up if it's carbureted right. If it won't kick after the third time on a regular basis, you got issues. You got to sort out. Trends and fads. Now, there's a ton of Supermoto hooliganism going on YouTube right now in the past couple years. Actually, it's really popular in Europe and has been for a very long time. But it's becoming really popular in the States. Well, it was several years back. And it's not so popular in North America now, but there's a lot of vloggers, you know, buying Supermotos and riding around Supermotos and doing Supermoto vlogs. I assure you, that is not a path that I'm interested in following, and it is not the reason I bought my KTM adventure bike, because I've had a couple people PM me about it, so I wanted to address that too. The means to the end for someone like myself is getting the most capable bike I could possibly piece together. And I looked into a bunch of adventure bikes before this, and I thought about it, and to me, I wanted something light that I could pick up on the trail if I was doing some adventure riding, but that was really powerful, attractive, and capable. Those were my criteria. Parts wasn't necessarily a big criteria for me because I live in Seattle and there's a couple KTM dealers in Portland and here as well. So I wasn't too worried about that. Although I'm learning, I still do have to order most of my parts. But all those other things, you know, were important to me. So yeah. I wanted to vlog about that because I think that's a really important topic. And I see a lot of it going on. People are just hopping on the trendy bandwagon, and people do that a lot, you know, that's pretty typical. Whatever's trendy, you know, gets the most views, gets the most sales, gets the most whatever. And I don't really agree with that mentality. You know, to me, you get something because it serves a purpose, you know, or because you're incredibly in love with it. You're romanticizing something. That to me is what makes something worth having. And doing things because other people do them, you know, I'm not here telling you, oh, I don't do things because other people do them, so that makes me cooler than them. You know, there is that douchebag mentality that I really want to dispel immediately, because that is equally as douchey as getting the item because everyone else has the item. So let's get that out of the way. Ships are cool. You know, doing something because you enjoy it or because you happen to have a practical purpose for it, that's where it's at, man. That's what matters. You know, every time I try and... Oh, it's the double. The double's really bad. This is like David and Goliath. Yeah, because you got to kind of hit this shit straight on. Oh, I did it. Good for me. But they put this palette here to dispel my behavior. It's not working for them, unfortunately. So anyways, now that I've got that out of the way, currently this bike is set up in adventure bike format, and I have taken it to the woods and done single and double track with it for the entire day. So I'm not falling into the whole Supermoto bandwagon here. Will I get a set of Supermoto wheels and ride the shit out of this bike in the turns over on Mercer Island, which is almost basically like a mega go-kart track? Definitely will try. One of the things about this bike that suits me so well is it can do anything, and most of the things it can do within its capability, it does very well. So really important to someone like me because I love to do all kinds of stuff. So, do I think it's cool that, people like Jake the Garden Snake promote supermotos? Yeah, I do. I think those guys found a practical purpose for their riding. They were on sport bikes, they found something that they enjoyed better for whatever reason, they gave it a shot, and it worked for them. That's cool. Buying one just because you want to pop wheelies and be a retard on YouTube, every 5 seconds, and that's the end and all, be all of your content, that's a different animal, man. That sounds like a very young and impressionable thing to do, which I'm not very apt to do. And you know what's funny about this bike? It just so happens to suit many needs for me. If you look at my VFR videos, where I'm riding my VFR, I'm doing stuff like in super tight turns all the time. I'm doing short distance between the city and those places where I want to go ride hard and thrash about. So, to me, this thing's more upright. It's more comfortable in certain ways, less comfortable in others because the seat on dirt bikes suck. But I'm apt to fix that soon. Once it's modified up to this point where it's got a stabilizer, my little GPS mount, my mirrors, the bark busters, all the stuff that I've done to it to kind of tame it for the street, the dual sport tires, it becomes way more practical to ride around town because it's lighter, easier to get on and off. It's got kickstart, so I can just give it a kick and have that nostalgic 1970s CB 550 feel, which is rad. All those things that I like to do, adventure riding, go out and explore a trail that I come across on the highway, that kind of stuff's like really important to me, so I find that really interesting and fun. Other people, maybe not so much. Maybe that's like not their cup of tea. Totally understand that, and I totally understand why someone would stick with a sport bike. They get their kicks at 100 billion miles per hour. I really just don't. I mean, I have in the past when I was a young guy, but even then, I was never really that much into it. I like the turns the most. So for me, this bike can do everything. It can go on-road very well with these 50/50 tires. It can go off-road pretty well with these 50/50 tires, and I'm keeping true to it by keeping the dirt wheels on it because those are very capable wheel sets. There's a mathematical formula for axle height versus the bottom of the wheel, equating to how much clearance you have when you hop a stump, a tree, anything big, a rock, and that's the reason I wouldn't put Supermoto wheels on this and these type of tires on the bike. It's a whole geometry change. So you want to keep this stuff on here, when you're doing adventure riding. That's why a lot of adventure bikes have steel wheels, because they're more durable. They're correctable when they get fucked up. You can true them and fix them. And then they can clear more ground, clear more obstacles, clear more logs, whatever it is that you're going into. So yeah, keeping it true to itself, just keeping it as an adventure bike, toning down the dirt and giving it some more streetability. And that was my plan with it, and that's what I did. That's why it's not a Supermoto. If I ever get a set of Supermoto wheels and I want to go terrorize, the roads for the summer and change them out for the season, then I'll do that. But as you can tell, I'm not really in a big rush to make it a Supermoto. I just invested in these Michelin T63s. So I kind of wanted to dispel the whole Supermoto thing, at least a little bit, so you guys understand where I'm coming from and why I chose to buy a KTM 520. Instead of some sort of like DRZ thing, because I think out of the box, the DRZ thing is way easier. I mean, you just buy a Supermoto and you're done. I wanted something a little more capable than that though, and I love European bikes. Call me nuts, but they just sound better. They feel like they have more character. They look like they have more character. They're always serviceable. They may break down more for whatever reason. But they're very fixable. You can always rebuild an engine on one of these quite easily. Japanese stuff, it's funny. Working in the industry, it's like runs forever, never breaks, but when it grenades, it's like really hard to rebuild the thing. It's one of those things. I don't really get it, but maybe it's because they never do break down and there's not a lot of parts for that sort of thing, for engine rebuilds and whatnot. That's when I went down in the video. Yeah, that was a pretty rough day. So anyway, so far so good. Just wanted to clear up some myths and mythos about why I, am poised to have a supermoto, which I'm really not. I'm poised to have an adventure bike, and I have some plans for it. I want to do some desert riding. I want to go explore some things that I miss. So fundamentally, it's going to serve that purpose for me really well, I think, until the motor grenades. And then I'll have to rebuild it. So, yeah, man. Thanks for subscribing, all you new people who've been doing it, and thanks for watching them videos. I appreciate it. And, you want to talk about stuff, you do it in the texty text below. You chat with your wolf claws. You just fucking type on that keyboard, and you tell me things. Fuck, I lost one of my fasteners. God damn it, they always rattle out those fucking things. Yeah, and, at the end of the day, whichever one of these horses gets used more in the stable is the one I'm going to keep, and the one I'm going to use more. So I'm just not the kind of person who can Jay Leno my way through life and have 15 fucking motorcycles. Although I'd like to be, I've always had a deep connection with, a bike, and I've ridden that bike, and it's been the bike everyone recognizes me on, and I go everywhere. That's kind of always how I've rolled. Things may change, though. That's one of the things about embracing change. You should, because change happens. So yeah, hope that's all dispelled. Hope you guys got your answers. If you have any more questions, shoot me comments in the below thingy. Fucking, that's all I got for you.
Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
New York is where I'd rather stay. Get allergic smelling hay. I just adore a penthouse view. Darling, I love you, but give me Park Avenue.